Have you? So you said it's like creating discussion. When you go to these events, do you get to talk to a lot of people who've never heard anything like this before? And if so, like, what are their thoughts?
Yeah, like with like Fusebox audiences.
Uh huh.
Um, yeah, it's really this is a real joy, and sometimes it's really easy, and the conversation comes really naturally. Sometimes it's really difficult. It's hard if there's not. Sometimes it's hard if there's not context for the work. I think sometimes I think the word "new" is a little problematic. It's very seductive. Like, I love new stuff as much as the next guy, but I think sometimes it connotates the sense that the thing just appeared, that it's new, and I feel like, especially in art, and I use the word art very loosely: music, film, theater, dance. But I feel like ideas don't just appear out of the ethers. That there's a long sort of history of these things, and so I do think context can really help. And sometimes for some of the work that we have, there's not a lot of context for it, and we don't always have the people power to sort of set the context. So that's definitely part of our work. But I often find that the work that is really challenging and most challenging for viewers is, and people might really bristle and not be a little frustrated when they see it, but like 2 years later, they're still kind of like grappling with it, and so I think that's worth it, and that's how you can sort of build a conversation over time. And we try, there's and this is related to the conversation element and how you build that conversation. We really try and build a whole spectrum of different types of experiences. There's really intimate experiences for, like, this year we have a couple of projects that are for 2 people at a time, to really large scale projects, that
Like, sorry, you mean like an audience of 2 at a time?
yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so very intimate, but also, large scale projects that 1,000 people can attend and participate in. I think also within that sort of range, I think there's some projects that we present that kids and dogs would love, and then there's some stuff that, like, is really challenging, and that's not easy, and it's asking questions. You really have to struggle with it, and I think that range is really nice. I think you need some projects that are kind of imitations and sort of window pieces that allow you sort of entry, but we also need to keep sort of pushing things and questioning things. I think especially when you're like we say we're interested in ideas, and I think ideas need to keep being refreshed and challenged and pushed. So I think that's an important part of what we do as well.
Mm-hmm. And is there, do these discussions just happen naturally at the bar afterward, or is there like an actual forum for discussion?
Yeah,
at most of these events.
That's great. Yeah, so all of the above. We have a series of artist talks that we do over the lunch hour, and we serve free waffles. We kind of try and take a little bit of the pomp and circumstance out of it, and try and make them pretty casual, but also really dig in and not afraid to shy away from big things. So we have these artist talks. We've had the past several years. We've had this hybrid art summit that is a little more in-depth, concentrated day of talks and conversations, and we really tried to explore the panel discussion and kind of explode that a little bit and do away with it. So like last year, these talks took a whole variety of different forms. But I think, honestly, and also we have a blog, we're on Facebook, and so there's an online component.
Yeah.
But I often find that the best place for these conversations is at the bar afterwards, and so we've always tried to have a official hub where so you can go see stuff during the day or in the early evening, and then at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night you can go to this location, and the artists will be there, other audience members will be there, and you could talk about what you just saw, you could talk about the world, whatever, and I feel like. And that's not just true here. I feel like often when I go to a conference or a festival, that the most revelatory encounters or conversations and ideas happen often offline, you know, just over food or drink with a couple of colleagues or peers. So we really want to make sure that is available for people as well. This year, the festival hub is going to be roving, so each night it's going to be in a different location. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little bit of everything, and we're still learning and still figuring it out, but it's a mixture of, I think, programmed and unprogrammed opportunities to talk about this stuff.
Awesome. So this year, we talked a lot about future projects, but this year specifically, what are the things that you're most excited about in the upcoming festival?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm excited about all of it. It's going to be really, really great. There's like 50-something projects. So I'm really excited about the Line Upon Line project. Mm-hmm. Deborah Hayes, a local choreographer, she's world-renowned, amazing, and we've been talking with her for several years about the right project to bring. And this past year, the Walker Art Center in Minneapolis presented this duet and then 2 solos featuring these 2 performers, Janine Durning and Ross Warby. And to my mind, they do Deborah's work better than just about anyone. And this duet is really really magnificent. And so we thought it was a good opportunity to bring them, and sort of simultaneously with that, there's this incredible technology project called Motion Bank. It's based in Germany, and it's a project of the choreographer William Forsythe, who's like one of the world's great choreographers. And it's really a data visualization project around exploring choreographic practice and how we can look at choreography in new ways, because choreography is this really ephemeral, kind of slippery, difficult thing to understand and study. So they've been working with this team of technologists to take the sort of basically digitize choreography and take that data and visualize it in really interesting ways. And the first sort of major choreographer they're going to focus on is Deborah Hay. So they're going to come to Austin and during the festival have a residency and then do a demonstration and a talk. And it's really mind-blowing work that they're doing. So really excited about that. One of the are you familiar with the Edinburgh Festival? It's like a giant, it's like the biggest arts festival in the world. It's primarily a theater festival. It happens in August in Edinburgh, Scotland every year. But one of my favorite aspects of it is there's a small micro festival called Forest Fringe. It's curated by these 2 individuals, Andy Field and Deborah Pearson. And to my mind, it's the most exciting thing about the festival. It's really edgy, interesting, fresh work. There's kind of a loose pool of artists that work in this collective. And so with support from the British Council, we've tasked them with taking over one of our venues, and they're going to curate it with 7 or 8 of these sort of emerging British live artists. So that's going to be taking place. Beth Gill is an amazing choreographer. She just won 3 Bessie Awards for this piece. It's very the Bessie Awards are sort of like New York's Innovative Dance Awards. This piece is really formal conceptually. It's very architectural, and I felt like that would be really interesting to kind of inject into the local dance scene. There's not a lot of sort of formal conceptual thinking in a lot of the dance that's happening here, so we thought that was important. And she's just a really fresh young voice in the New York dance world. Let's see, some of the we have this culinary arts program called Digestible Feats, which are collaborations between culinary artists and artists from different disciplines. Graham Reynolds is doing this fabulous collaboration with Sonia Cote. We have a couple of different tea ceremonies that we're doing that are going to be, one of them is sort of a proper British high tea with the pastry chef from Foreign and Domestic, Jodie Elliott, and this really remarkable improv group Parallelogram Phonograph, who are hilarious. So it's going to be sort of a comedy of manners. And then Peter Stopczynski, who's part of Golden Hornet with Graham, is working with Kirk Lynn, who was on faculty at UT. He's the head playwright for the Rude Max. And they're doing this. It's sort of a Japanese-style tea ceremony. It's called Zen Songs and Prayers. It's really beautiful, really lovely. So that's, and then I guess finally there's this. I referenced this piece for like 2 people at a time. Mm-hmm. There's this artist named Ant Hampton who's currently living in Brussels, and he sort of invented this. I guess it's a style of theater called auto teatro, and they're works of theater in which you are both the performer and the audience member. Often it's 2 people involved. So if we were doing it, we would like show up at the venue. We'd be taken to a room, and we'd put on headphones, and then they tell us what to say to one another. So there's no one else watching. It's just the 2 of us. And he's done a series of these. This current one is culled from interviews with Chinese migrant workers. Mm-hmm. And the conceit in a nutshell is almost as if there was a hardware error on your laptop and it crashed, and then you rebooted, and suddenly the face of the person who made the computer is like staring you back, and you can have a conversation with them. Uh-huh. So it's a really remarkable, intimate piece that's using some technology in a pretty interesting way, and it's also kind of literally about technology and this relationship that we have with it, and this sort of non-relationship with the people that actually make it. You know, it's mass-produced, but it's also often handmade, and like everything we're wearing is like made in China, but we have no relationship with these people. So it's really interesting. It's almost a piece of journalism. So those are some of the works that I think are particularly exciting. But there's a lot more. I just would encourage people to check out the website, and we've created some different. We're launching a new website on April 1st, so there'll be a little more information up there and a new look and feel. But each event in the festival is going to have a sort of corresponding partner or pairing. Which we thought would be fun to try this year. It's our sort of version of two-stepping.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. You said, what, 50 events?
Yeah, a little over, I think.
Awesome. Well, thanks a ton, Ron.
Yeah, thanks. This was really fun.
And
see you around.
Watching, Fusebox Festival is